Hi, this is Sandra from the blog Cherry Heart, and this is episode 3 of the Cherry Heart podcast, the very spaced out and sporadic podcast that it's turning out to be. But I finally got round to recording another episode. Yay! So, yes, what do I need to say? Oh, show notes. You'll be able to find the show notes for this podcast on my blog, www.cherryheart.co.uk, and I'll put links to all the patterns and anything else of interest that I talk about, so you'll be able to find those there. And if you're on YouTube, I'll put a link to my blog down below so you can find it nice and easily. So I've been very busy, which is why I haven't got around to podcasting, and then sort of very lazy, having a nice little holiday. I've been doing lots of crafting though, and I've got loads of stuff finished, and I'm really behind on the blog with sharing what I've made. I've got lots of sort of warm things that I made back in, I don't know, February and March, I think. I just haven't got round to getting them pictures taken and getting them posted about. I don't know where the time goes, but anyway, I thought I can show you a load now and sort of catch up a bit. That's the plan. So we'll start with what I'm working on at the minute, which isn't a lot really. I've kind of been finishing things through the holidays, so I haven't got a lot on needles, but let's talk about what I have got, which is sock blanket. Now, I did post about this, so I won't talk for ages about it, but I've been thinking about doing one of these for a while, and when we did the blanket along, there was a lovely lady, and I can't remember your Ravelry name, I'm sorry if you happen to be watching, but anyway, she had a lovely sock blanket as well, and on top of the other lovely sock blankets I'd seen, that kind of tipped me over the edge. So let's get these out of the way. This is my little sock blanket start. So that's my 20 squares that I've done so far. So that's quite good, quite fun. What can I say? It's just really nice to use up. I said this in the blog, but it's really nice just to use up like favourites and get to use them again. Some of these are just really. This is the Tosh Merino one. Tosh sock rather. Oh, lovely. It's really bright, but my God, it's soft and lovely. And then that's my Painter's Palette Merino that I use for my mitts. And it's nice to see them come up in a different way, like if you knit them round for a sock, like this one. That's from my candy cane socks. It's on Ravelry, blah blah. But it's just really nice to see that, how the colours come out on that, because I didn't particularly like how they came out on the sock, but on that it's great. Yeah, so that's fun. And I've been using a couple of different patterns. I've been joining them, by picking up stitches. So you knit one, then you pick up the stitches along the edge, and then cast on a few and knit the others. And then this one, you just pick up stitches off of all of it without having to cast on. So that's quite good. So I'm using the memory blanket pattern for that by Georgie Hannam. So I'm using her technique to add them all on, and then I'm kind of using the sock yarn blanket pattern, Sew Knit Girls on Ravelry, Sew Knit Girls version of the sock yarn pattern. And that's how I'm doing sort of the decreases and everything, because I've gone for an odd stitch number, which I don't think she does in the memory blanket. I think she goes for an even number. So I've gone for an odd number so that I can pick up sort of even along here and even along there, but just one off of this diagonal one as well. I thought that would sort of help tie it in together neatly. So that's what I've done. I kind of changed my method of decreasing. I don't know if you can tell actually. That one I've got a knit two together with a purl in the middle, slip stitch in the middle. That's just so you can find the middle easily without having to use a marker. and I'm too lazy to use a marker. And then I sort of went along a bit further and thought, oh no, I'm going to change it. I don't like the way it sort of, if you lay it flat, I don't know if you'll see. It kind of really bends and they really fold along these ridges really easily. It's like some sort of origami blanket, which I wasn't liking. So then I changed it and did this decrease, which is slip one, knit two together, pass, slip, stitch over. And it makes sort of like a nice clear middle bit that I quite like, but without sort of folding up. So technically I probably should have undone the squares I'd done and done them all the same, but I couldn't be bothered. And I figured when this blanket grows really huge, in 20 years' time, when I've made it that big, these ones will just be a tiny little patch down the corner and no one will ever notice. So it'll be fine. So yeah, so I found these kind of little regia, my first regia balls that I'm sort of adding in, because I haven't really got that much sock yarn. I've kind of not been a massive sock knitter really, so I have got some 4-ply and things, but I've knitted in practically all my old bits now, so I've added some of those, my first regia, to pad it out a bit, and now I need more yarn to add to the sock blanket, because that's what you do when you're supposed to be making a scrappy blanket, isn't it? It's supposed to be using up all your leftovers so there's no waste. So what do? Go and buy stuff specifically to put in a leftovers blanket. How mad is that? But I've also, we'll get onto that later, but I've also brought some new sock yarns that will have leftovers in the future. So I'm hoping to keep the blanket on the go for quite a long time so that I can get lots of leftovers in. And let's face it, it's a knitted blanket and I'm not going to want to do it constantly, so it's going to be one of those pick up and leave things. So now I've done 20, I'm feeling a bit done with it for the time being, so I'll leave it. But I'm hopefully doing a swap soon, so then I'll probably get excited and want to add more colours in, but we'll see how it goes. And then the only other thing I've got at the moment is socks, funnily enough. After saying I'm not a great sock knitter, I'm going to talk about 2 pairs of socks in this podcast. But this is what I've got on the go at the minute. Look at those colours. Fantastic. This yarn is Self-Striping Sock Yarn by Eden Yarns, which I'll come back to that. I've got another one, so I'll show you the label and everything then. But this is in the Retro Stripes colourway, or Retro colourway. And you even, so I've split the wool. Look at that, look at it wound up. Doesn't that look amazing? Yeah, I think so. So you get the stripy yarn, but you also get like a plain colour to do the toes and the heels and the cuffs in plain. So that's a new experience for me. I've never sort of done that before. I've just cast on, knit the whole thing, and it's come out how it's come out. But now I'm having to think a little bit more about where I want the stripes to finish, and so I haven't put my heel in yet, but I need to put my heel in. So I've kind of been procrastinating over it a bit because it's not an easy one. I'm having to sort of think about what I'm doing a little bit more. Yes, so it keeps being put aside and then being picked up again. But I think the other thing as well that's put me off a little bit is that I'm knitting 2 at a time on one needle, which I don't particularly like, really. The reason I'm doing it is because I had a bit of a hoo-ha with my socks I just finished. So I thought, oh, I'll do them, which I'll tell you about when I talk about them. So I thought I'll do 2 at a time, but yeah, I'm not loving that. I prefer to do 1 at a time. But I am loving these needles. These are Higher Sharps, which I got new, and they're fantastic. I really like them. The cable is just so flexible. That's one of the best things. I'm not massively keen on sharp needles because I tend to sort of push the end with my finger and then it hurts after a while. Which is a bad habit that I can't seem to break. But I'm kind of getting converted to them because the way it's just so much easier for your knit two togethers or whatever. So yeah, I'm kind of getting converted to the way of the sharp needle, but these I love anyway, and with the flexible needle it just makes everything so much easier than any other needles I've got. My Addi clicks are my absolute favourites, but they're interchangeable, so they don't really go down into these tiny sock sizes. So yeah, two favourites I've got now. Oh, and the pattern, I was going to just say that it's just a basic pattern because all the colours in the Fabulous Stripes, I've just gone for a basic sort of vanilla sock pattern, which I got out of this book, Socks from the Toe Up. That's by Wendy D. Johnson. I've had that one a little while. So I'm going to try a slip stitch heel. I don't normally find that they fit my foot very well. I think I've got quite a high arch, but I wanted to try the Fish Kiss Lips heel, which now that it's available again, because of all the EU tax nonsense, and it's American pattern, she couldn't sell in the EU for a while, so I couldn't get it. But now it's back, so I can get one and I can try that. She seems to reckon that it should fit, even if you have high arches or whatever. So I'll try it, and I'll let you know. Right, and now let's talk about finished things. Let's talk about the other socks actually, while we're in sock mode. Let's talk about these. These are my socks that I finished. There we go. This is the Spring Forward pattern, which is by Linda Welch, I think. And the yarn is one that I had in stash for ages and ages and ages. It's one of the first, if not the first, sort of indie dyer yarn that I ever brought, and it's by, I'm going to say Alina Shea. I think that might be right. It's the Sunrises yarn, and this is the Slither On colourway. Slytherin Silver and Green. I quite like Harry Potter. I'm not like massive geeky on it, but a little bit. And I used to be in something on Ravelry called the Harry Potter Knitting and Crochet Cup, which is kind of massively geeky actually. But yeah, anyway, so she did a few Harry Potter inspired yarns. I found her through that group. So yeah, at first I was a bit worried I was going to have horrible pooling again, because it's all clumped together a bit at the top here. But actually, as the pattern got going, and because of the way the pattern goes and it sort of makes it wiggle a bit, it's kind of broke it up. I quite like that. So yeah, that's good. But yes, the problem I had with these, and why I'm knitting two at a time now, is because I knit one and it fit perfectly. Best fitting sock I have ever made. Excellent. So I thought, great. So I started making the other one, made that all up, and that fit rubbish. My tension must have been massively different because it was just huge and baggy. So I had to rip it back and knit again, and then it's still not 100% right, to be honest with you, but it is a lot better and it still fits reasonably well, so that's okay. But I've never had that happen before. As I say, I haven't knit loads of socks, but I've never had that problem before. I guess it's because I'm just not knitting enough lately, regularly enough to sort of for my tension to have evened out. So I thought I don't want to knit 3 socks again, so I shall knit them at the same time, and then the tension can't possibly be different, can it? At least even if it changes. Although that's not good. Even if it changes, then perhaps I'll have to re-knit both again. That's not going to happen. They will be fine. They better be fine. Yeah, so that's what put me off. So I'm sticking with the one circular. I'm kind of forcing myself to knit those on one. But yeah, I'm not massively enjoying it. I just find it a bit fiddly. It's all right once you get going, Anyway, waffle. What else should I show you? Oh yeah, my little mitts. I don't know if you were here last time. Oh, I didn't say thanks for coming back. Thanks for coming back, if you're coming back. And thanks for joining me for the first time, if you're joining me for the first time. I meant to say that at the beginning. This is what comes of spacing your podcasts out so far that you forget what the heck you're supposed to do in between. Yeah, anyway, so I showed you some wool. It's Erica Knight for John Lewis, and I just went in there and I just saw them all lined up on the shelf and loved it. So I got some and didn't really know what I was going to do, but I did get some extra pink because I wanted some pink mitts. Hold these up so you can actually see them. Stop messing about with them. I wanted some pink mitts, and I've wanted some for ages and ages, and I kept looking and couldn't quite find the right pink. I didn't want sort of a dusky pink, and I didn't want it to be too bright, but I didn't want it to be pale. I wanted sort of a nice sort of candy ice cream colour pink, which I think this is. It's quite nice. Quite the pink I was looking for. And I've made this pattern before. It's a drops one. It's got some weird name, number as a name, but they also call it Shell wrist warmers. I'll link so you can find it, should you wish to. Yeah, so I thought, oh, I'll just whip up some in this pattern. That's a nice pattern. And then I decided to add this lime to the top. Now, I was just going to do bobbles before. I've done a little picot edging, which I really liked, that I did in some cream ones, that I got the idea for that from Coco Rose website. She'd done a pair. Love that. Gonna borrow that idea. So yeah, so I was going to do the same, but then I kind of got into my head that, oh, I'll put this lime on it, because when I saw the colours together, I kind of got excited about the lime being in amongst there and it being so bright. It doesn't quite show up so bright on here. Pretty bright, I grant you, but not as bright as it is in real life. It's not quite sort of neon highlighter, but it's getting there. I'm trying to sort of angle it. The light fades it out that way. Fades it out that way. Fades it out every way. If I bring it back here, it's actually a bit better. It's a bit more realistic. Real to life, I mean. Yeah, so I thought I did one. It's taken me so long to tell you this. I did one that was pink with just the picots, and then I did one with this edging, so I could compare and see what I wanted to do. And I went, yeah, lime. I'm going to have the lime. Yeah, it's going to be really funky and different, and that's going to be cool. And I did it, and I finished them. And then I kind of put them on the side and didn't really wear them. And I think I almost sort of immediately thought, perhaps the lime was a mistake. So I've worn them the odd time, but not lots. And now it's worn, so there's no point in wearing them. I don't want to wear them. But I don't know, what do you think? What do you think people advise me? Was the lime a mistake? I mean, I could easily take it out and just finish them in pink again, couldn't I? I added a bit to the bottoms as well, just to kind of tie the thing together. Yeah. I'm not convinced. Any opinions on that? Votes for keep the lime, rip the lime out would be appreciated, because I don't know. I'm not sure. Right, what else? I was just looking down at my notes to see what else. Let's talk about this. You can see it on here. I talked about this in one of the other podcasts too, I think the last one. And I'd done sort of the main. I'm going to fold it in half because, as you can see, I'll put that down because it's making the light flicker like, ugh, that's horrible. Make you feel ill. I'd done the body part, but I needed to put the edging on. And it was a long edge I had to work, but actually it was alright. I mean, it took a while, but it was not too bad. See if I can hold up a little bit without it having a fit. It's so bright, that's the trouble with the window. There, if I hold it that way, so I sort of shield it from the window a bit, you kind of. It's so pretty, isn't it? Let's hang it down there. Isn't that lovely? yeah, so I'm very pleased with this. I actually made a whole bunch of mistakes, which hopefully aren't mega obvious. But on this edging, there's a little, it's not complicated, but for some reason it took quite a while to sink into my brain exactly how these yarn overs and that should go for the pattern. So at first I didn't know and had to keep looking at the pattern. Then it started to sink into my head and I thought, okay, I've got this down, I know what I'm doing. And the minute I thought, I've got this down, I know what I'm doing, then I started making mistakes. Because I got all blasé. Oh yeah, I know the pattern. I don't need to look at the sheet. Yeah, right. So yeah, so there are some little mistakes along the way, which luckily, see, I can't even see them now, so that's good. And again, the theme of the podcast, I can't be bothered. I didn't want to rip back and change them. It didn't upset me, the fact that I've made mistakes. I was just so pleased anyway with how it was coming out and the fact I was getting through it and it was getting done and it wasn't, you know, a big chore. I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the vanilla, just garter stitch of the body without thinking, and then the edging did require a bit more thought, but that was fun too. So I didn't worry about it. They're staying in there. And anyone, you know, that sort of ever thought, God, she's, you know, her stuff's always spot on. That myth is now dispelled, isn't it? No, she's far too lazy to be a perfectionist. She also needs to stop talking about herself in the third person, because it's weird. Okay, so that's that. And one more thing, one more finished thing, because it's another warm thing, and by the time it gets on the blog, you'll be like, why? Well, you might not, it depends where you are in the world, but you might be going, why are you showing me these warming things when it's the height of summer, you lunatic. So it's good old grannies. Let's just get it up so you can see. I just realised I start talking about something and you've no idea what I'm going on about because I haven't shown you it. A little more mitts, naturally. I don't know how many pairs I need, but a lot. I need a lot of mitts. So I love these. And this is a cow. Looks a bit weird when you just hold it up. This is here, simulation of me wearing the cow. Yeah, I was sitting in my living room one day, and the draft that comes through our door can be quite strong, and that's why I quite like wearing scarves a lot now. I think it's my drafty house. But just I had a scarf on, but it just wasn't coming up and keeping me warm. It just felt like it was up around my ears, and I just wanted this whole area to be covered. So I thought, I know, I'll make something now, and then I don't know if I thought I could wear it straight away, but I just thought, I want something now, so I'm going to make it this minute. So I got wool and made it. And this is Debbie Bliss Baby Cashmerino, by the way, which lovely and soft, passes the neck test, which is what I wanted. And also it wears quite well. So I thought that'd be good. For something, you know, I'm going to take on and off, because, you know, I've been wearing it quite a lot. This has kind of been my go-to thing this winter, since I've had it. Yeah, so I wanted it to be quite thick, but I also did it thinner, you see, so it goes up into a tube. So actually when you put it on, it does actually kind of sit up. I mean, you can squish it down if you want to, but you can actually have it sort of up and it will sort of sit under my ears. And I can tuck my face in quite nicely. And it's perfect for that, so it's perfect what I wanted. It just comes up and keeps me cosy as cosy. And because I quite like the colours and how it all came out, let's give you a close-up actually of those. I sort of thought I'll do some little matching mitts. And I quite like the edging too. It's just a little simple thing, but little things please my little mind. So yeah, so that was good. So I meant to put them on the blog and write up a pattern and all the rest of the hoo-ha, but here it is April, and here they sit. with nothing has happened to them. Maybe one day. It's on the list. Everything's on the list. The list is very long. But you know what it's like. You've got a list, I'm sure. Right, so last thing, well, almost last thing is the gathering of yarn. I must gather yarn to me and I must keep it. So after I'd, well, before I'd started making the sock yarn actually, I sort of made a few things like those socks with things that have been in my stash a long time, and actually I've pretty much used up my stash of nice, you know, nice individual hand dyed or slightly more expensive hanks of yarn, and oh my god, I haven't really got any left. I felt quite bereft. So that had to be rectified. So I think did I speak about it in the podcast that I went to Loop? That helped sort that situation out, but haven't actually stopped yet. So I'm kind of thinking in the back of my mind, oh, this will be future sock yarn blanket supplies, but that's probably not the best reason in the world to be spending out on lovely hand-dyed yarn. But anyway, let's just cut and show you what I've got, because you kind of see them, so I'm sure you'll be wanting to know. Okay, so this, after I enjoyed my self-striping sock experience, after I fell in love with that, then another one came, and I had to have that. Look at that. Let's see if I can get a good colour picture. Yeah, look. So there's your stripes, and there's your colour for the toes and heels. And this is from Eden Yarns, as you see. I think she does shop updates on Friday, mostly. I don't know if it's every Friday, but I think it's generally Friday. But there's, I'll just show you the label so you can see the content. So it's superwash merino and nylon. It's good for socks. This is the Selena colourway, and it's nice and soft, and the socks I'm knitting up are lovely as well. I think they're going to be great. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to knitting that, but I also kind of want to hoard it in my stash for a while. I was watching Little Bobbins podcast, Danny, a couple of podcasts ago. She was sort of saying how she likes to keep things in stash a while and sort of maybe not knit them, and I thought, oh, I don't really get that. Don't have that problem, and you know. But now I can completely understand it, because now I'd sort of gone through and thought, oh my god, I've used up all my lovely old ones. I sort of kind of got used to just having them, and then I know I've got them in a different form now, but I don't know. It's just quite comforting knowing you've got some supplies there that you could dip into if you want to. So now I feel like I'm using that other stripy one straight away, so now I think I need to just hoard this one for a while. Yeah. So our sock yarn blanket again, going back and knitting in my Tosh sock that I got from Loop, again, absolutely years ago, and I made the socks absolutely years ago as well. But going back and using that yarn again made me think, oh my god, this stuff was so lovely. So I had to get another one so that I could enjoy it all over again. So yeah, Madeline Tosh sock, and this is the Cosmic Wonder Dust colourway, which is kind of, I don't know, it's great, I love it. Just love all those little dashes of colour. There's a bit of a theme coming on here actually, there's this little dashes of colour thing, speckled type effect. But I just love that it's got sort of everything in there, a bit of yellow, a bit of pink, orange, greens, blues, you name it, it's in there. And Cosmic Wonder Dust, that's a great name. How can you not get that? So this is 100% merino, no nylon in that, but my other socks have worn perfectly well. Still going strong, still wear them, so I don't think it'll be a problem, I hope not. I don't wear them all year round anyway, because it would be too warm, so I only wear them in winter. I kind of try to you know, use them sparingly, so hopefully that'll be fine. And then, this is a bit of a mega splurge, which if you're on Instagram, you will have seen these, but these only came the other day, so I'm really quite excited about these. So these are all from The Wool Barn. She's got a shop on Etsy, and yeah, just the nicest things I've been seeing. I'm not sure she updates. I don't know how often she updates. I don't know if it's once a month, but she does little announcements on her shop, so you know when the next one's coming. But yeah, I've been seeing them, lots of people with it all over Instagram. And I'm like, oh, I like that one. Oh, I like that one as well. Oh, I like that one as well. So I've been kind of stalking, waiting, when's the update? And then when I saw it, I was pounced. Pounced and got there. You kind of need to kind of, you know, be a bit ready to go for it. Same with the Eden yarns, especially the self-striping ones. You've got to get in there if you want some. Don't know why I'm telling you this. I should just keep it secret. But you need to know, right? Anyway, so yeah, this is luxury sock. So it is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, and that's in the light blue speckles. So that's just lovely. And then I've got something similar but on a different base, a different colour. This is Cupcake Sprinkles colourway. Oh, that's fading it out a bit. It's a bit more yellow than that. No, it's not going to show you the colour. It's more buttery yellow. It's lovely. Trying to sort of angle it away from the window. No, it's definitely fading it out. It looks cream in here. It's much more buttery. But anyway, it's got little flecks of yellow and blue and pink in there as well. Just tiny little suggestions. So I think that's going to look lovely. And this one is 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon. Strong sock. Cupcake Sprinkles. Great name. And then last, and my favourite, again, very similar with the little speckled colours. And surprisingly as well, because purple's not normally particularly my thing. But it's kind of lilac with purple, blues, and even bits of red. So that's showing up much better. Oh, that's just amazing. This is Sublime sock. But it's 70% Blue Face Leicester, 20% silk and 10% cashmere. So that one's even softer than the others, and it's just passes the neck test. I don't think I can make socks out of this. I don't want to put this on my foot. I want to put it somewhere much more visible. So it'll probably be something that lives up here somehow. And also, with that order, look, I've got a little mini. How exciting is that? That's going in the blanket. And these buttons as well. So it's fantastic. Oh, and some tea. These lovely orders from these, you know, from Eden Yarns and from Meadow Yarns I've been ordering from as well. That's where this one comes from. And this is from Maya at the Wool Barn. Just the lovely little touches, you know, and just a nice little tea bag and mini skein. I'm definitely going back there now. I mean, wow, give me a mini skein. I'm definitely coming back. So yeah, I just think that's really nice that they just, you know, have these nice little things that just make the whole experience of buying there and just receiving the package, which is exciting anyway, just that little bit more special. So yeah. So I shall put links to all of those in as well. And then I think that's it. I think we've done a podcast. I just wanted to quickly mention a couple of my favourite podcasts. In case you're getting into this and you want to watch some, I quite like to sort of sit of an evening and, you know, there's not always anything on the telly to watch, so I like to watch and have a little knit or a crochet or whatever while I watch. So a couple of my favourites are Little Bobbins that I already mentioned. Danny, she does a lovely podcast, and she mentioned me too. That's the other reason I wanted to spread the little podcast love about is, she was sort of mentioning me, and when I've been watching up to recently, she's sort of been knitting a lot, and that sort of got me into a lot of knitting things again. Not that I'd left it, but rekindled it a bit. And now she's started to do some crochet things, and she's been making a little weekender blanket with sock yarn scraps, which is just a fantastic idea. I love that. I wouldn't do it with sock yarn straps because obviously I've got my other blanket on the go, but I kind of love the idea of doing a crocheted scrap something as well, because I have got a lot of crochet bits that need using up, and I don't actually ever end up using anything up. So yeah, anyway, she's got a lovely podcast, so if you haven't seen it, I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, then go and check that out. And also Tilly Trout. She's another favourite of mine. She just makes me giggle. She's funny. And she's got 2 lovely Springer Spaniels that I quite like as well. So that's another one to watch, to try. I think she might be doing some hexagons as well. So that was quite sweet that she mentioned me as well. It's very exciting. That's why I thought I'd better do another podcast, because people are going, oh yes, go and watch a podcast. And then people will come and go, where are they? There are none. What are you on about? And the other one that I always watch is Stitch and Loop. And there aren't so many of that one. I think she's done sort of about 5. And that's, I'm not going to pronounce this right because she's from Iceland, so I'm probably going to say it wrong. But I think it's Danae. Something like that. She always says it, and I think, oh yeah, that's it. But she says it quite quick, and I'm rubbish with pronunciation, as we've covered in previous podcasts. So yeah, sorry, I apologise. But anyway, I just really like her. She's got some young children, and she just talks about all kinds of different crafting that she does, knitting and sewing and embroidery, and she talks a little bit about Iceland as well, which I quite like. That's quite interesting, just to sort of learn a little bit more about it, because I've always fancied going there. It just appealed to me as a place to visit, so quite nice to hear a bit more about it. Okay, so I think that's actually it. So if you've got any comments or any questions, if you want to ask any questions, I know someone sort of mentioned the idea of me showing you a bit of Craft Room, and I did actually film something. I haven't got around to sort of beyond that, so I need to sort that out. But yeah, if there's anything else you want to know, then just give me a shout in the comments, and I'll do a little Ravelry thread as well, so you can go to the Cherry Hearts Cozy Corner on Ravelry, and we can chat about it there if you can think of anything. Okay, I shall hopefully not leave it quite so long next time, and hopefully get a podcast in a bit quicker next time. But until then, bye!